hadn't planned to create this video for a little while yet, but sadly, due to what's happened in Ukraine with Russia, I felt it was probably a good time to publish this video. It's terribly sad what's been happening, and as a family man, I can imagine that's what all the people are really thinking about, their families, what's going to happen with their family. It's really quite sad. I'm totally anti-war. I do understand that you need to defend yourself, and in those circumstances, yeah, you know, there's no other way around it. Diplomacy will work for a little bit, but or at least you'd hope it would. But if it comes down to defending yourself with war, then so be it. And I think that's where the Ukrainians are at this time. You know, they're using every man, woman and teenager to defend themselves. And it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. I think there's enough lives lost now to see that Russia can't just sort of stop. They've got to either take the whole of Ukraine. I wouldn't imagine them going any further unless NATO got involved. But even so, that's bad enough. But in early 2020, I started writing a book about Donald Trump, and another about Joe Biden, but not until later in the year. I'm still writing that one now, because I can't finish that one until Joe Biden's left office, as I've done with Donald Trump's book, which I published early last year. And when it comes to politics, I've never really cared. I always kind of thought, well, especially here in the UK, you know, whether it's Labour or Conservative, they all pee in the same pot. They're all the Eton Oxford clique, you know, taking turns. One party will come in and keep the old policies and add some more. Another party will come in, keep all those policies and add yet some more, and that includes the taxes. Nothing ever really changes for the better, it seems. So I've always sort of stayed out of it and never voted for anyone. I haven't voted for a Labour or Conservative, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. There's some policies that the Republicans in the US have that I quite like. There's some policies that the Democrats have that I quite like. There's some policies in Labour and Conservative here in the UK that I quite like. But equally, there's policies I don't like in all parties. So I kind of sort of stay out of it. I know that by not voting, I'm letting a different party in. But like I say, to me, they're all the same. There's no, this party is better than another. The people are different. The leaders of the parties are different. But anyway, I wrote this this book about Donald Trump, and I took in, it's only 18th, it's less than 20,000 words. And I took in lots of comments and information from Trump supporters and from Brexit supporters, because undoubtedly there was a connection with those people. But it was hard. It was so hard to do, because I'm listening to things and I'm writing things down, and some things, yeah, I could understand, and then other things I'm thinking, whoa, this is pure speculation. This is pure what's the word for it? Conspiracy. But then I'm doing the same with the Biden book now. I'm taking things in from people and comments from, and I'm doing the same thing. And it's so hard, because I kind of feel myself neutral in politics, but liking what I like. So I'm taking this in from all sides, And it's interesting to say the least. I never really cared, like I was saying at the beginning of this, I never really cared about politics up until Brexit and Donald Trump's arrival in politics. I never really cared. It was only when I started to see how there was this clear division between Remainers and Leavers and left and right, and how that was getting wider, that I started to really think, oh, this isn't right. You know, we're dividing, and maybe I never saw it before, but it just became so clear while that was going on. And the fighting between, not physically, well, in some cases, yeah, but the fighting between the parties. So yeah, I'm a bit concerned about what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, and hope it ends as quickly as possible with some sort of diplomacy. I don't know how, with there being so many Russian lives lost already. I believe there's something like 500 lives. I can't see that being easy to turn around, easy to back out of for Putin. Anyway, especially with the backlash from at home. I mean, that's pure alienation, what I'm doing there with those two books. But that's okay, because I'm targeting two different groups. Ideally, I'd like both sides, if you like, or all people, to read both books. But that's not going to happen, because with the Donald Trump and the Brexit book, that I could understand those on the left, if you like, and Democrats and Brexit or European Union Remainers really wouldn't want to read something like that. And the same the other way around. The Donald Trump and Brexit supporters really wouldn't want to read anything about Joe Biden. I mean, look what's happened with all the films that have been coming out in the movies. They're attacking or putting over a political agenda in each of the films, or a lot of the films. And that's straight away, let's say half the population are not going to enjoy the movie because of that. And that's going to hit the box office. It's as simple as that. So you'd want a movie like, so let's say Deadpool, the first one. Now, I really enjoyed that. And Deadpool 2, I didn't really enjoy that. It was too political instead of just being fun and action. And I don't like that kind of thing in a film when I'm not expecting it. Or it doesn't really need to be there. So if something doesn't need to be there in your book, leave it out. Try to keep as bigger audience as you can if it's not directed at a certain group of people. I sound like I'm ranting, don't I, here? But it's such a hard time right now with what's going on, and it just made me think about getting this video up and talking about alienating your audience. Keep it as wide as possible. Well, that's just my way of thinking. And it's the same when I'm talking to people. I just try to stay out of a lot of things when they're talking about this. And I just say, well, you know, I'll keep my views to myself. And I think it's the same kind of thing that should be done with writing. Like I say, unless you're targeting a particular group of people. And let's hope everything works out in Ukraine, because it's a terrible situation right now. When I was writing my book, Donald Trump and the Brexit Connection, people talked about their worries with Ukraine and the West pushing Russia all the time, threatening Russia with NATO, and how Russia then took the Sevastopol naval base in Crimea because they were being forced out of the lease they had or at least it not being extended. That doesn't give anyone a right to kill people. That's an argument that needed to be sorted out in a diplomatic way. And I think diplomacy hit a wall with what's just happening right now. So let's all hope that the Ukrainian people, the soldiers on both sides, get through this, without too many more casualties.